Thank you heaps. I just can't thank you enough for the fact that you joined me in my podcast. I'm just no one. I'm just an AR Rahman fan, probably the craziest guy ever. But I'm truly honored that you have come on board for my podcast, sir.
No problem.
And you won't believe it. I don't know if you can see my nails. I've bitten all my nails in the last 1 hour. And I messaged Gulu saying, I am really nervous. Sir is going to kill me.
And why would I do that?
And then he said he's the nicest person ever. You're going to enjoy it. No, it's just for it's the amount of respect we as fans have for you, sir. That's the only thing. So of course, I don't know if you might remember. It was probably in 2017 during the Encore concert.
Yeah.
I came all the way from Australia to Delhi. And I was in the same hotel as you and AR, and that was the first time ever I was going to meet AR in person. And then I'd come all the way, and then I ran into you in the lifts. I am not sure if you remember that, but I still do have that picture with me. Yeah. And I'll share that with you after the podcast, of course. And 3 years later, I'm having you in my podcast, and this is unbelievable for me, sir, to be honest with you. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. So we have got some great questions for you, and mostly there are a number of questions from your hardcore fans who have asked you. So, of course, we will get to that. And so, how is the lockdown treating you? How are you coping with that? I know you're writing a lot of music and stuff.
Yeah. I think the most challenging thing has been that because my studio is not in my house, so I don't have any drums. I don't have any drums yet.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
But I got permission to do a day trip to my studio tomorrow and bring some gear home.
Okay.
I have my computer and a pair of speakers and my keyboards, so I can write. I'm writing new music, and I've become a cook also, because I think most men have started exploring that aspect, which they were not doing because...
Does that include AR too?
AR, I don't know if he's taken up cooking, but he made me breakfast one day in LA. He made some eggs. And,
nice.
I don't know if he's taken up anything like that, but
yeah.
I think the lockdown is... it's tragic for what it's done to people, but even musicians like us who rely a lot on playing live have had to kind of come to terms with a lot of cancellations, and but beyond that, there's a lot of other people suffering, poorer people, elderly, and it's not an easy time, but I suppose it's a time to reflect for the whole planet.
Yeah, true.
I'm not saying anything new here, but it's amazing how the simplest of ideas and all get pushed to the back of your mind because you're so busy with everyday life.
Yeah.
The simplest things just don't occur to you anymore.
Yeah, of course.
So it's a great time for humanity to understand its place in the system of the universe, and it'll teach us some humility, I think.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
We are going through the same here too, sir, but it's not to the extent of what's happening in India. It's half lockdown here, where we are allowed to go to the supermarkets. We are even allowed to go to the shops and stuff, but you need to have a valid reason if you step out of the house. Otherwise, you get fined about $1,600 on the spot.
Yeah. Well, even here, you can go to the market, you can go to the doctor, you can things like that. That's fine. But, it's the only way to contain this.
Yeah.
There's no other real way.
Indeed. Sir, on a lighter note, I'm sure you must be getting this all the time. People mistaking you for Vijay Mallya. So I'm sure you must have gotten over it.
Oh, yeah, it happens a lot. In fact, the funny thing is we were in America 2 years ago, two and a half years ago, and AR just got fed up with people mistaking me for Vijay Mallya. So I remember he sent out somebody and he said, listen, I want you to go. I didn't know actually what he instructed them, but this guy comes back in 2 hours with the T-shirt that says, I'm not Vijay Mallya.
I remember.
And he took a photograph and put it on his Twitter page. And so, I mean, I get it from time to time. It's still there.
Yeah.
But hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah, of course. Sir, I mean, of course, you've been working with AR for a long, long time. And would you actually remember when you met him for the first time ever? And what was that moment like? Is there anything that you can share?
First time would have been like 1989 or something.
Wow.
1990. Because we have common friends. Filmmakers, Bharat Bala and Rajiv Menon.
Yeah.
We used to do advertising, and I was told there's this wonderful composer from Chennai, and he wants to come to Bombay to work. Can he work in your studio and use your equipment? I said, yeah, of course. And I think we met briefly, but we became friends very fast because we had similar approaches to music, life, humanity, and so it wasn't something we had to really work hard towards. We've been friends for 30 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Sir, you're obviously one of the most acclaimed percussionists in the whole world, and then you have collaborated with many greats. And of course, I mean, just want to know what's it like before and after AR's collaboration?
Well, I mean, the first thing I did with AR was Hamma. And I mean, it's great fun when we work together. But we also have separate sort of identities and careers and approaches to some music. But it's always a joy to work together. And I really, I mean, we all know AR is special, you know. And I think, you know, a lot of people think that he's been blessed, and he's been blessed, but he's, I think, the hardest working musician I know. So I think it's a way of saying you procure blessings by working very hard. True. So I don't want people to lose sight of the fact that he's really dedicated his whole life to making music. So he deserves all the success and more. So I have a very practical way of looking at things. And then, of course, the inherent talent and ideas you are born with, you have a responsibility to make them maximize your full potential and make it real. All the imagination.
True. Awesome. Sir, of course, moving on, of course, you have composed music as well for a number of movies, and one of them that I have never ever forgotten is the Tamil movie VIP.
Oh yeah.
You won't believe it. I loved those songs, and you have no idea the number of times I must have heard when I was a little kid. Not that I'm saying that, it was way far behind. But what I'm trying to say here is I still remember I was then in Bangalore, I think, and I went to the music shop, and then I said to them, is there any more albums of Ranjit Barot? After I heard VIP, and then they said, no, nothing has come out yet. And then I was so hooked to it. And I didn't see anything coming out of after that stuff.
I think there was some talk. You know, they wanted me to move to Chennai, and I had a studio in Bombay, and my family is here, so I didn't pursue it any further. Who knows? If I had, I might have been more active in the Tamil industry.
Right, of course. But truly, I love that album, sir. Actually, talking of that, I should put that on my playlist tonight to listen to it. It was amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
And any memories of that composition time, sir, I know it was quite behind.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was fantastic. I mean, I felt so much freedom
mm,
working in
mm,
the Tamil film industry because they're so much more receptive
yeah, yeah,
to adventurous music and the
mm,
music that I wanted to do. Like
yeah,
nothing I did was too out for them, you know.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So they accepted everything. Everything was like they shared the same spirit of enthusiasm, which I don't think exists in Bombay, in the
true.
film industry here.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then we did another small film. There was a film called Kanna, which was a
Oh, yeah,
very small film, and there's some nice songs in that. I remember
yeah, yeah.
Sujata ji sang, Hariharan sang.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah, it's worth checking out. There's
okay.
some
I will. I
interesting
will.
stuff on
I
that.
apologize. I did. Okay.
Yeah, it was a very small film.
Yeah.
I don't even think, and it didn't do very well. The actor Prakash,
Mm,
he's in it.
okay.
He's in it.
Okay.
So I had a great. Yeah, I've always enjoyed working on this album.
Great. And of course, one of the things that came out not so very long ago, the One Heart concert, the tour,
Yeah,
right? And you were the man behind it. And then there's a little thing that I would like to narrate to you is when that came out, when that was released here in Australia, I was so over the moon because for all obvious reasons. And I remember taking a day off from work and going into the movies to watch it. And well, I mean, no offense, but I was the only guy in the entire movie theater in the
yeah,
and I was the only guy because of course it's for the AR fans, right? And
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
for the general audience. And I was the only
Definitely.
guy. And then I still remember the staff of that movies came into the thing and he was going to come in to check if everything is fine. And he saw me sitting there and he said, Are you here for the right movie? I said, absolutely, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It was a kind of a documentary
yes,
slash
yes.
music performance.
Mm,
So I'm not quite sure. I think AR just did it to document it. There was
yes,
no
yes.
real
Yeah.
commercial
Yeah, absolutely.
plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once we documented it, he said, well, why don't we show it to everyone? And
Yeah. Yeah.
it ran in Bombay it did kind of okay for a week or so.
Mm,
It was
mm,
okay.
yeah.
And
Of course.
which is very surprising for a non sort of mainstream film.
True. But
But
I'm sure it was purely for
yeah,
the fans.
yeah, for me, music, and
Yeah.
it's about the foundation to help
Yes.
musicians,
Yeah.
who are not employed anymore,
Yeah.
who are
True.
suffering and
True.
really out of work.
Yeah, indeed.
So
Yeah.
it
Um,
was a wonderful thing. Yeah.
and of course, yeah, I mean, you won't believe it. It still plays. It's on Amazon Prime as well. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, and I also remember buying it on iTunes and it still plays. I mean, I have seen those moments, especially when you talk about when AR comes on stage and when he starts to interact with the audience and the amount of magic it happens and stuff like that. I've
Yeah.
I've seen that repeatedly, sir. You won't believe it. Because
Yeah.
those moments are great for me when you actually describe it, when the fact that you're actually working with him closely and you're describing that experience, it,
Yeah.
it meant absolutely something different that I couldn't describe. But thank you for that. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we also know that you've been the man behind the Urvashi 2.0 as well, the re-release of that, right?
Yeah.
And you were the brains behind that. And then I have danced like crazy for every time that song came out, especially when you come out on the stage and be it in Melbourne, Sydney, or Delhi and Chennai. I was in Chennai August 2019, and then again in Trichy, as you know.
Yeah.
And thanks for the hi-fi in Chennai, by the way. And I literally screamed saying, Ranjit, hi-fi, and then you did.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So what was it like coming up with that, sir, with the rework on a
Well,
masterpiece?
we kind of did it together. Yeah, it also
Yeah.
had great ideas, and
Yeah.
because it was initially for the MTV Unplugged
Yep. Yeah.
segment, and we said, how do we? It's such an iconic song,
Mm.
and when you're talking about Unplugged, that means no electronics and no electrical instruments. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we thought of bringing new instruments on stage, like marimba and different percussion, and getting the singers to stomp and clap and So I mean, when you do music long enough, music starts showing you little secrets, and you kind of get into a rhythm of having a free imaginative mind. And AR is totally, I mean, AR is so imaginative. He's constantly thinking of new ways. So,
right.
And then he said, because who was the original? Suresh, no?
Suresh Peters. Yes.
Suresh Peters, yeah. He was there, and he said, why don't you and him should do like a little jugalbandi with scatting?
Yes.
And Suresh is great too. So we had a lot of fun.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, we absolutely love you when you come up on stage and you perform that. Not just that, just your sheer presence itself makes a huge impact, sir. And then I've been fortunate enough to be right beside the stage and to witness some of the concerts. And I felt very blessed because I live thousands and thousands of miles away, and all that I can experience is the music that you guys create. But for one, when I make the trip, I actually get to see you in person and then hear it live, see it live. This is a truly amazing experience. And of course, talking on that note, sir, you obviously would have seen me in a number of concerts. And in fact, I remember when I was speaking to AR in the backstage in Trichy, it's just 2 months ago. And he said, okay, you're back again here. And I said, sir, quite obviously. And then he jokingly said, it's high time you get married. And anyway, so a number of my friends have actually asked me, you keep going to the concerts again and again. Is there anything new, or why do you actually go? And then my answer to them has been that I would do anything for AR. I love his music. It's beyond his music, the love and respect that I have for him. And of course, the crew that works with him, who work so hard to bring the music out for us to enjoy on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So in that context, I wanted to ask you, sir, what goes into the planning of these concerts? Because how do you know when to sprinkle that magic when you want the crowd to go crazy? They go crazy anytime, anyway, but how do you know?
I don't think it's a question of knowing as much as trusting your instincts. What is best for the music? How can we elevate the music? Because listen, that's the reason why audiences keep coming to hear the same songs reimagined, because they know that we're going to try really hard to breathe new life into it. I have to write new arrangements and think of, and they're such iconic songs. You have to treat it with respect and make sure that fans can recognize it, but also recognize that it's in some new avatar. It's got a new dimension.
Yeah.
So the magic comes from the audience's acceptance. When they really like what we do, that's the magic, We know we've done okay because we actually get some mails from fans, not just about the music, but about my arrangements and how
absolutely
they love what is going on. And so, it gives us more confidence to take more chances. And we know that the audiences are brave enough to understand what we're trying to do.
Yeah, of course. And I've been fortunate enough to witness some of the rehearsals as well, sir, as recently as the one in Trichy. I was there less than 2 meters away from you and watching you, how you, arrange things, and of course, getting all the artists lined up and then conceiving the whole thing. I can imagine there must be a lot of pressure in your head. Or
it's just hard work. It's no real pressure because there's a lot of trust and love
Yeah.
between AR, me, and Nazif
Yeah.
at BTOS.
Yes. I know
We
that.
had a lot of faith and trust in
Yeah.
each other, and
Yeah.
we all work towards the same thing, which
Yeah.
is making AR Rahman
Yeah.
into as big a star, more than what he already is, supporting that
Yeah.
status,
Mm.
serving the music, and we're there to make him look good. We're
Yeah.
there to make him shine, and it's his show, and he's given us all these songs.
Yeah.
All we have to do is not mess it up,
Yeah.
get it out right. So
Yeah.
there's no pressure. It's just hard work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pre-production,
Yeah. Of
a lot of
course.
planning, sound, the technology,
Yeah.
linking the video to the audio, making
Yeah.
sure the show is standardized no matter which venue we playing
Mm.
in,
Yeah.
juggling musicians' dates. If this singer's
Mm.
not available,
Of course.
what do we do? It's all logistical and planning. So it's a minimal amount of pressure. It's just hard work and planning.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. So how long
Really what it
before
is.
does this process start? If, for example, for the Trichy concert, when did you actually start the process? Just sort of curiosity.
Yeah, it'll start a couple of months before. It'll start
Right.
at
Okay.
least 2 months, 3 months, 2 months, 3
Oh,
months.
wow.
Depends.
Wow. Okay.
But we have already we have templates that we can
Mm.
work with. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so for the South, we have a template. We have
Yeah.
a bank of songs.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, 50, 70, 100 songs.
Yeah. Of course.
So, and then for the Hindi, we have another bank that we've worked on.
Yeah.
And then if we do international tours, then we also throw in some of his instrumental work and stuff he's done in Hollywood. And,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then it's a matter of tweaking it, reimagining it,
Mm.
little things that will elevate the music.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not like we have to start from scratch each
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Of course.
now,
Yes.
the next set of tours we'll do, once we can get
Yes.
on the road,
Yeah.
it'll be a brand new
Okay. Awesome.
kind of show. Yeah.
That's another reason for me to make a trip for sure, sir. And I was all set to travel to the US for the Seattle one in May.
Yeah, I know.
I had even said that to AR, saying you'll see me next in the US when I met him in Trichy, of course. And then, of course, now it's been moved to next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
All happens. And so something that you did very, very recently again with AR is that Sufi concert in Mumbai. I can't resist to ask you, please tell us the experience. What's it like in a Sufi? And
Well, I'm not part of the Sufi show. I actually did. The gentleman who sponsored the show, who was the promoter,
yeah,
has his own sort of Hindu devotional set,
yeah,
which performed alongside AR's Sufi set.
yes,
So
right,
he approached me as AR's music director. He said, "Listen, would you help me put this show together?"
awesome, awesome,
So I did. I helped him
Yeah.
redesign it a bit, because he had a show, but if you're playing before AR, you got to raise
Yeah.
the game.
And was he impressed? Of course he was, right?
Yeah, they loved it. They loved it. Yeah. They loved it.
Right.
They
Awesome.
loved it.
Great. So we're coming closer towards the end of the podcast session, but
Yeah.
I have got a bunch of questions from your hardcore fans. And so if you don't mind, can I go through them with you?
Sure.
There's only a couple. One of the fans says, you're an amazing percussionist. Can you play other instruments too?
Yeah, I mean, I play piano, I play guitar, I play bass, I sing.
Yeah.
These are the instruments I really, kind of.
Yeah.
Like I'll compose something on guitar, I'll compose something on piano.
Yeah.
I play a little bit of bass.
Yeah.
Drum set, of course. And
Yeah.
then these are my primary
Awesome. Great.
instruments. And yeah.
Right. Awesome. And so, I mean, of course, you're taking up a brand new role now. We're going to see you on the big screen in 99.
Yeah.
And can you tell us anything about that? Or it's like a secret not to be revealed?
No, it's the first feature film
Yeah.
I've done, really.
Yeah.
And I had a fantastic time. It's so much fun.
Did AR approach you for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
he called me up. I was in the US.
Yeah.
He said, when are you coming back? And I want you to act and audition for this role. So I said, okay.
Oh gosh.
And I came back, and Vishwesh is a wonderful director. So
Yeah. Yeah.
very easy to work with.
Yeah. Right.
I think Vishwesh is an easy director if you know what you're doing. I think people who don't know what they're doing, I don't think Vishwesh is that easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I have a surprise question for you, and this is from your co-actor in the movie, Ihan Butt.
Yeah.
So he sent me a question, and of course, look, I put a post saying I'm gonna be having Ranjit sir in my podcast, and then he shot me a question saying, "Ask sir, what was the thought process behind his role?"
See, I'm not a trained actor or anything, but I don't think there are some things you can't train for also.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Vishwesh created a very open environment. So
Yeah.
I wasn't even given a script.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, only for the one major scene where I destroy Ihan.
Wow.
That's the longest scene. That had a pretty tight script.
Wow.
When I say he didn't give me a script, there was a script, but he didn't want me to read just the lines that were there.
Right. Okay.
A couple of specific things, but then he said, this is what's taking place. This is what's happening. You got to do this. Walk here. You got to introduce him, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I would internalize that, and I would just try and have fun with it, and just be totally natural and calm. And
yeah. How long was the schedule for, sir?
Not too long. I think I shot a total of not much. Like scenes were in a week or something.
Awesome. Great.
Not very long.
Right. And of course, there is a trick question from one of your fans. He says, "Sir, have you replaced Shivamani?"
No, I haven't. I mean, in the sense that this particular show requires my services, and the Sufi show, Shiva is a part of the Sufi show.
Right.
And that's playing more to his strengths there. And it's not a matter of replacing anybody. It's just what works best for the show.
Of course. Of course.
If AR decides that Shiva should be on the show, then Shiva is on the show. It's just what the client wants, what we think the show needs. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Yeah, of course.
The buck stops with AR.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I can take it up to a point, and then after that, I will suggest everything. But then he has to sign off on. At least on personnel.
Yes.
You know, that's his call.
Yeah.
That's up to him, really.
Of course. And then one of the other fans says, "Sir, I don't have any question for you, but I just wanted to say I really love you a lot."
I love them all too. And it's without them we wouldn't have a career.
I mean, we are all blessed to be listening to all the stuff that you guys create out there, sir. I mean, with so much hard work that goes into every sound that comes out of the studio. Sure. And one last question from your fan again. He says, "Sir, can you describe a special moment for the programming that you did on Hama Hama?"
Yeah, I mean, when I went to Chennai, we just ended up talking for like 8 hours. We didn't even work.
Wow.
AR and me were so interested in catching up on what each other was doing, and because AR is a very private person.
Yes.
And I think we became friends before we became colleagues.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to chat and see like what we felt, and we realized that we were very, very similar in a lot of respects.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mani Ratnam sir would come and then he would go. He saw these two guys are talking, no work is happening. Then he came back in the night and he saw we are still talking.
Oh,
But
wow.
see how much he respects that, because
Yeah.
we're not talking to kill time and waste time. We're talking to understand each other and then make music.
Mm.
And then the next day, I started working on the song, and I was in this smaller studio, and Money Sir just came in, and because I put the lights off, I put the lights down when I worked.
Yeah.
He just came in quietly and he looked at me and he said, "Please, I don't want to disturb you. I'm just going to sit in the corner and watch you work."
Yeah.
And as I was working and constructing those rhythms, he sat for like half an hour, 40 minutes without talking, just watching me work.
Wow.
So it shows you the level of respect and love that they have for their craft, which is something I really, really admire.
Yeah.
So that was a special experience for me.
Of course. So actually, on that note, I do remember in the past, AR used to light a candle when he's working. Does he still do?
I think so.
Okay.
When he's writing on his own, it's a very private space for
Yeah.
him. So,
Yeah.
I understand that. I can see how that would be something he'd like to do. Yeah.
Awesome. And sir, there's of course just one last thing from your lap. When you're another fan, he says, "Sir, can you say something in Gujarati for me?"
The funny thing is, my dad is from the Gujarat area, but I grew up with my mother, man. It's all Hindi. I can't speak Gujarati.
Right. Okay.
I'm like zero for me.
Okay. Cool. And maybe just one last thing, and it'll wrap up after this. I promise, sir. For sure, I'm going to share this link to AR once it's edited and stuff. I was going to ask, is there a message for the man himself?
Oh, for AR?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I can't tell him anymore how much I love him, so he already knows that. So, I mean, he has to take care of himself so that we can enjoy his presence and his music for as long as he's got to make sure that he looks after himself and continues to do what he's doing.
Yes,
it's a big part of our lives.
Of course,
not just the fans, but even us. We, in a way, I mean, I'm a fan too.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of his music, and I always have been.
Yeah,
and the world needs that music and that message. So,
of course. All right. So we have come to the end of the show, obviously, and then I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me your precious time.
No problem.
Just taking you away from your creative space, and I'm truly
fine. That's fine.
Thank you so much, sir.